Welcome back to Broken News in a story that we covered almost 2 years ago now. The death of Jam Master Jay. When I first covered this story, like I said, it's one of those stories where you hate to see the downfall of your heroes, people you grew up watching, people you sometimes people that kind of part of the soundtrack of your life. Jam Master Jay and Run DMC were that for a lot of people, a lot of 80s kids. We all felt bad about the death of Jam Master Jay, and so I was surprised to hear about that 25 years later, this is according to NBC News, man pleads guilty 25 years after the Jam Master Jay murder. Jay Bryant admitted to a federal judge Monday that he helped other people enter the studio of the former Run DMC member in a planned ambush in 2002. Now, I'm going to cut down to the bottom of the article where it talks about the murder itself to give you a little bit of a background on the case. Prosecutors contend that Mizell's godson, and Jam Master Jay's real last name is Mizell, his godson Carl Jordan Jr. shot the Run DMC member while Ronald Washington, a friend of Mizell's, blocked the door. Jay Bryant allegedly slipped them into the building and assisted the two men by opening a back door for them. Bryant was seen entering Mizell's studio immediately before the shooting, and his DNA was found in a hat on the scene, according to the prosecutors. That's basically the long and short of how it went down. Now, Jordan and Washington were convicted by a jury in 2024 after federal prosecutors made their case that they killed Mizell in anger over a drug deal. Let's stop right there. For a long time, before you saw the evolution of these men, after their hip-hop careers, Reverend Run became Reverend Run. DMC became an advocate for mental illness. I think I've done a video on that. And Jay was still working in the studio being a DJ. No one ever thought or suspected that he was a drug dealer. It is alleged that Mizell had obtained 22 pounds of cocaine with the intention that the two men, along with others, would distribute. But then, according to other court papers, Mizell had told Washington he was no longer part of the deal. Washington hatched a murder conspiracy. Washington and Jordan entered Mizell's studio in the Queensboro on October 30th, 2002, and ordered Mizell to lie on the floor. Jordan was the one with the gun prosecutors sent at trial, shooting 2 bullets at close range. Jordan's attorneys defended his innocence at trial, saying he was at his girlfriend's house at the time of the murder, yet he was still convicted at trial while engaged in narcotics trafficking. The charge was eventually overturned on appeal. His defense argued that prosecutors failed to provide enough evidence to prove that the drug trafficking was at the root of Jordan's involvement. The U.S. District Judge LaShawn D'Arcy Hall agreed, and she wrote in her opinion, while it was clear in Washington's case that he is bitter over the drug deal, prosecutors had failed to show Jordan had the same animus in the case. I'm not even going to get started on judges in this era, but the interesting part to me is originally Jay Bryant, who's 52, who was charged 3 years ago in this crime, came in and pled guilty. Now, as of the recording of this video, the Monday in question in this case is going to be, let's look at the calendar. It would have been April 27th of 2006. Now, I'm glad that at least 2 of the 3 people in this case got convicted. I'm sad that Jam Master Jay is not here, and I'm equally sad and disappointed that it turns out, I guess, Jay was a drug dealer? Like, because, and the irony of it is back in the day, Jay seemed like the cleanest one. He seemed like the one that was, you never heard it. He rarely talked in interviews. You never knew what he was really up to. You know, while the other two, the front men looked kind of like, you know, party animals, Jay was just in the back DJing and spinning. And allegedly, he was a someone trying to distribute a whole lot of cocaine. It's a tragedy in a lot of ways because it probably didn't have to come to that. Who knows what, and you get into like, what's the royalties look like? Was he getting his cut of the publishing? Why is Jay at the end a drug dealer? I don't know if I should do a video on trying to dig into why that happened, because I think it is a piece of the story that should be covered. I'm gonna end on this. The fact that it really took 25 years, because I remember when this happened in 2002, in the shadow of everything else that was happening back then. It was sad, super chaotic, nobody was talking, and it just seemed like it was going to be one of music's unsolved mysteries. Quarter of a century later, I can't believe that it's been 25 years. We get the resolution to the story, and the end of the story, in some ways, has more questions than answers. But like I said, when you see this, it'll be broken news. It'll be news that while it's big, probably, it's not even big in the way that news used to be big. That's why I call it broken news. So much comes at people like a fire hose, whether it's in pop culture or music or politics or sports. So much happens at one time that you can't really keep up with it all. There's another channel that I'm working on that doesn't even cover a lot of pop culture and whatnot. I think I might start doing that with the channel that has my name on it. This is just strictly a music channel in a lot of different ways. But I wanted to cover this story because, like I said, I usually cover any stories that do with music, and sometimes there's like a criminal element to it. Did not expect this kind of criminal element. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section about how you feel about this. I would never expected this to be the end of Jam Master Jay, or at least